We thank God for giving us our life today. We thank Him for His blessings, His care, and everything that He has done for us today. We are having discussions on the family. And we started on Sunday by talking about how our young people will prepare towards marriage. And then yesterday we continued by having a discussion on the immediate years after the actual marriage has been contracted and the shock that we go through. Today we want to take some time and then talk about family communication in the family. After the marriage has been contracted and everything, it's okay, we are living together. After some time, babies will start coming in. We'll create our own families. At some stage, we'll have 4, 3, 2, 5 kids, and they will start growing. There will be the need for us to communicate. Say, so today we would want to talk about family communication. How do we communicate as a family unit? Communication is basically about everything we do. Family communication is a continuous process. It is the non-verbal as well as verbal information that we exchange among families. It is about how informations are passed on within the family unit. So it is very important that we know how to communicate as a family unit. If you say, Eja, papa, and nkwala, mama, and nkwala, yekita mudie ewo fi ho nyina no, enya nsusaso ewo yabrabo mu ene bibia. How parents will communicate to their children is very, very important. And even how parents communicate among themselves in front of their kids at home is a crucial thing that we need to discuss or talk about. It is very important that we all understand the concept of communication at home. Communication, we have two main ways of communicating at home. And that's your verbal communication, which is so the maker say, what do I know? Can you pick something from here for me? Can you do this for me, please? Can you pick that for me, please? You know, these are verbal things. And then non-verbal is the ones that we don't speak, but our gestures, our manners, and the way we behave tells us what to do. For instance, a facial expression of a father or a mother will tell a child whether he or she is pleased with what the child is doing. And in most cases, we communicate through the non-verbal more than even the verbal. So how do we communicate as a family unit? The way our kids will grow up, whether they are going to grow up to have a very healthy self-esteem, whether our kids are going to grow up to be confident in life, whether our kids are going to grow up to be good citizens, much depends on the way we communicate at home. It's very, very important. So, and I'm saying to you, I say, as I say, you see, quite a bit of you better not say, you better as wife and husband. Honestly, tomorrow the discussion is going to center or narrow down on marital communication. That will be just between spouses, husband and wife. But today we are talking about communication as a family unit. Say the sitting como, say the sikasa, say the see normal, as a family unit. Now, say we as a society say communication is something that can bind us together or that can break us and tear us apart. The way we communicate will determine whether we are going to bond well or we are not going to bond well. And that is why it is important that we learn the basic rudiments of communication or effective communication. When kids begin to come, and they begin to grow, they learn what they see at home. They begin to mimic or learn the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we do our things. Our manners are exactly what they pick up. And so kids become a reflection of their parents. And so, how do we communicate at home? Having said that communication is important and key in everything, how do we communicate at home? Akoye manso ne entokwa ene ebufu nkwa. A lot of couples or families do not communicate well, do not sit down to have a meaningful discussion or communication because we haven't mastered the art of communicating within the family unit. It results in fight. The kid sees us. Papa, the father is at home. He has a problem with the wife, and then he transfers that problem to the kids. No, I shall say attitudes, moody attitudes. No, I shall say no, because of Mameno, I ain't baby. Mamen so, Papa Bay baby, not one also actually one abatal home against Papano, not a fair a day or how other two a buswani kita hudiemu. Adolfo, today in our world today, information is so easy to get on the internet, and communication has become a very important tool that as a family, as I said in Kakra Yusuya, I've already said that communication is a way that we kind of pass information on within the family. It's a process. It's a process of passing information within the family. It's quite bad here for sweating come. Papa and mommy should have a healthy way of communicating within themselves. Papa and mommy should find a better way of communicating as couples so that it will not have any negative effect on their children. We have so many communication styles, which I'm not going to dwell on today. But the may dwell on will be a normal here as a family. Say it to me, in fact, a normal as I say, being truthful with ourselves. We need to speak truthfully within the family unit. We need to practice active listening. A very, very important. We need to practice active listening at home. We need to find a peaceful way of resolving conflict as and when they come in a respectful way. Communication was American. The father does something, the mother is angry. The mother does something, the father is angry. The kids does something, parents are angry. How do we communicate our displeasure in a way that is not going to tear us apart, but bring us together in a respectful manner? The goal of our communication is to build us, is to build each other in a healthy way. The goal of our communication at home is to build each other in a healthy way. The goal should be, say, the way I'm communicating with her should be able to build her in a positive way. Same way, say, she should also find a way to communicate with me, to build me in a healthy way. Same way we need to communicate with our kids. In fact, there are homes where kids are not comfortable communicating with their parents. As human beings and as Africans, and Ghanaians in particular, fathers have been created, in quote, to be too harsh, strong, unloving, and a whole lot. You know, this is a way of telling the child that the father either is wicked, unloving, or unkind. So the way we communicate, the way we do things, some of those things are not verbal. You will not tell the child that your father is wicked. But if you tell your child that when your father comes, I'm going to report you to him, for him to punish you, it simply means you are telling the child that the father is wicked. So the way we communicate sometimes unknowingly portrays or gives a different picture as to what we want to convey. And that is why like I said, we need to practice active listening. How do we as parents listen to our children? Say, how do they approach us? In some homes, and Kolano cannot approach the father. You know, if you said they have that mentality as a papa, as a Timor, so they have to go to the father, through the mother. I will say, catch your mommy, now only your papa ekasa. And that is a very, very bad way of communicating. Because if a father, your children cannot approach you and would have to go to their mother to reach you, it is dangerous. So you have to create a room where your kids can reach you even when you are angry. Even when you are angry, you should create an atmosphere where your kids can reach you anytime. These days, because of phones, sometimes parents, when you call is so important to you, say, Obama ever on Chabekans Matrono, now what was I say? Now a bear practice. It's a bedroom, you know. So Obama saw your caller, and that's what you know, because you've made the call so important. So, and this will approach you. What if, say, at that particular moment, there's something important, say, and that's a disastrous that is happening, I was said, well, as a father, what if? You don't have to be, as a papa, we're like a monster, it will fear my intimate ritual. Same way, the mother should also find a better way of communicating with their children and put to the father in an unfortunate situation. Same way as the papa also create a situation whereby the children will feel uncomfortable going to the mother. How do we talk to each other at home? How do we approach each other? It will feel. You get a to say, you feel maybe one more. I small war zone. Small war zone. Not because Yashada Koto Amrish Dadoko, but our choice of words, the way we communicate, our choice of words are so bad that one word that comes out of your mouth will infuriate the other so much that nobody would want to even talk. Now, in most cases, for us as men, many of us, that was how we are making. When something is going on at home, now what kind of back home? You've said it once, twice, 3 times, and you don't see any changes. In most cases, men would withdraw and will not say anything about that act anymore. Into whom they're going to be, and that is not the best way to communicate at home. Because so long as we have life, we must continue to talk, dialogue, share our views, our feelings every day. As long as we have life, in a respectful way, it will feel. You don't have to stonewall anybody, and sister as a nipano or Casawana, what she went or Casawana, it is not a better way of communicating. And my Encolan SCA said, it is okay. So, what will be take now on Casanwa, okay. Unobite now or Casano Mugana, it is okay. But that is not okay. Into which, as people, let's find a way. Some home there are no fun. If you are, we are so rigid at home, say there's no fun. We don't seem to create fun. If you are any day, and so when kids are growing, they wish they grow early and then move out of house because there's so much. The house is tense. So much tension at home because of the way we communicate. But the way we communicate is so bad that it is tearing us apart. Like I said yesterday, one word can mean different things to different people. So when you say something, I say something and you don't understand, please ask. Don't assume that I should know. Don't assume that I have to know because I'm not a mind reader. Nobody in the house or in the home is a mind reader. We are not God to know what you are thinking. So communicate, talk. Talk. But find a better way to talk. In many homes, in many African homes, communication has become vertical from father or parents to kids, to children. Children are only supposed to obey. I'm the father. I said this, you have to obey. And that's it. Vertical. But communication should be both vertical and horizontal. As I say, ma apansunya a quine a chena drain any dicta or chena drain doesn't mean say or no drain now but at least one man a hearing. Yeah, I'm fine to say about we must learn. Baby, if you are snake on that is the way we should go. Yeah, my man hearing. In fact, for me say but I meet to me feel and I must be meeting because Friday and maybe I be a meeting. So if you be the best you feel honest, I'm not happy. I call a meeting, we discuss, we talk, and then we move on. Even though I must be meetings, yeah, but I feel say it's a better way to handle things so that I will not go to bed angry. So that I will not develop heart attack. Say one communicating say what they or how to show more. But I was saying communicating in a calm, respectful way. So the bear offended the other person. So that's why they said when you are angry, please keep cool. Watch what you say because words are more powerful than machine guns. When a word comes out of your mouth, the harm that it can do is more than anything you can think of. And that is why we must be choosy in the kind of words that we will use during our communication. Intimacy say, going forward, if fear in Kitamudian Koso, Papa questioned them, the father comes from work, he's tired, he's now glued to his TV, his phone, he talks on phone, chats, laughs, eats, go to bed, following morning, he's off to work. He comes home, tired, eats, he's on phone, he's feeling sleepy, he goes to bed, following morning, off. There's no communication, proper communication at home. Same way, my message is because of your head. But trust me, Omo etimi enyini properly. Omo nyini wo a very healthy home where communication, good communication is key at home, where everybody feel at ease to be at home. Nobody panics when he sees another person. So no. They all feel so comfortable. And we need to create that atmosphere through our communication. The way we talk will let our kids feel so comfortable approaching us anytime. In fact, those of us who have daughters say, oh, Baba, now if you have a very good communication channel with her, onya the message are probably come back. The better to be a book room no become a channel. Straight on if you are not better. Now, must be that gives you a better chance of guiding him or her. But if that communication channel is not there, they have to be understood. And so he would find answers from friends. And you know, sometimes no man Adam for no and shada any papa a bit me obano. And so communication is so important, but we need to find a better way of communicating. And that's what I said, that the first thing to do is that we have to speak truthfully to each other. We have to speak truthfully with each other at home. It's very, very important. What do I mean by that? As I said, we have to be faithful to ourselves. If something is wrong, it is wrong. Be able to say it, be bold and say it, but say it in a loving and respectful way. Say it in a way that will not tear the person, but will build him or her up. Many of us will listen to answer. Many of us listen to answer. Oh, come on, one can no you want rather. Because yes, Osha someone can no, Asha said you will retrieve as my work had back with see. That is not active listening. It doesn't really matter whether the person is speaking foolish. Just listen. Just listen. Sometimes it's not about the nipa kind making sense, but just listen. Because it takes some kind of pain out of his or her chest. Na amana peace in life. So let's practice active listening, both parents and children. Now, let's respect each other. The fact that I'm your son, I'm your daughter, doesn't mean you should disrespect me, father or mother. Speak to me in a respectful manner where I feel that you value me and you value my opinion too. Say, yes, I'm a child. But at least listen to me and then value it. Let me feel that I'm also valued at home. But if I say it and you dismiss me, if I say something and you dismiss me, the next time something again. Because after all, father is going to dismiss me or mother is going to dismiss me. And it's like the Mekabian is foolish. So I'm not going to say anything. And that is not a healthy way a child should be brought up. After that, Adeba Kwan, say ya, we are so busy with work, with school, no. How do we create an enabling environment give it to me any time for ourselves? Families should create time for themselves. There should be days within the week. Papa, mommy, the family, you block it. I must say, certain way we are blocking it for our interaction, for our family gathering. In my house, for instance, between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the weekdays, I try to make sure that time is blocked. My phone is somewhere, even though it is not easy. But I tell everybody, Madam, for the phone to her. It is time for us to meet and talk. Sometimes, in my house, I have Ludo, I have draft, I have Oware. Now I want Scrabble. Before I leave here, I have to get a Scrabble. So that when we block that time, those of us who can play draft will play draft. Those of us who can play the Oware will play the Oware. Those of us who sometimes they never tell Ludo, it is not like that I like the Ludo, but that is what will bring us together as a family unit. So I sit down, we play Ludo, and the interesting thing is that boys, you're to Ludo now, and you're first in here, almost 2 weeks, almost a man's first eddy. It was a no man be away. No fast about or Timmy Rose, or we are news, no boys who knows. You know what? It gives us something to talk about within the day. Sometimes if you movie boom, moving the boy pet, and then some Mexican soup press or me pet, but a man in tea. Now, what's not movie with that? But the Ambrasia, what's not home? Now we know we have because you are blocked Satan. Me a share. Yes, no more tell me. Oh, that the way you say. You know what? It gives us something to talk about the following day. That's how family communications are built. I'm not saying it's easy to do, it is not. But you have to block some time for family meetings, for family gatherings, for family interactions. Aramfo, we are doing that's all master yampa so be so. We are seeing open Jessica, we are seeing na say, we need on many yampa so be so. We are a Juma Pesica, we are seeing na say, who couldn't many yampa so be so. As a family, we need to stick together. And we can only stick together if we have time together. Don't wait. Where some of us, we wait until we get our vacation and say, oh, we are going on vacation, 2 weeks vacation. We go, we come, and the rest of the year, we are living separate lives. No. And then you want to go vacation because vacation go back after a month. Now what the home there must be little things happen at home each week, each day that gives us something to talk about. And it is not that at the end of the day, oh, papa no piano, mama no pet. No, but for the sake of the family unit, for the sake of that bonding, you create the time for the family to meet. Once a week or twice a week wouldn't be bad. Yet what will be had the phone to baby, no phone. Will be for the phone to baby, no phone. Because your family first. Me as a phone. My family is my first church. And so if I cannot have time with my family. Next time I started have time with my church members. Oh, trust me, I first have to have time with my family. Create that time. Now me ba also I be create time for the church. It has all playing as create that time, that enabling environment at home where you have time with your family. You block the time. What do you phone? Because these days, because of phones, if you're not careful, we can stay at home, but we'll be living in a separate world. Because we are maybe on the phone, so we are at home, but we are still separate. Let's create that avenue where we block that time, maybe at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday at home. Then Papa, create, be innovative. Be innovative. In my house, sometimes I tell them we want to do dancing competition. Now almost we say yes, my kaya franto time go school me ekwa club na me sano. Ne I say bo hevra franto. You know, my jungle no mina seria, that you know sa we sa na seria. Nobody knows that I did that at home, but at least I have created some kind of bond with fear. But it's not easy because yes, I better be front one more. So you have to be innovative and creative at home so that your house will be a lively house, a house where or a home where your children, your wife, your husband will always want to be. Say utukwanko baby akwana na opentem abefie because he or she is missing home so much. So, friends, in today's world, effective communication is important in everything, especially in the home. And we cannot continue to do or to live our life the way we have lived. Ubiana me baby, papa bano na mami bano na baby, nkwani ekitamu tablet, mimi a tablet 7 days. So they are friends with their tablets and not father. Fathers are not friends, but the tablets are friends. What kind of system are we creating? What kind of kids are we raising? Create time and be with the children. Be with them. Family dinner. And here is it. Toda the me can say the phones how. But at the end, they say when there's a will, there's always a way. So have that will. And I believe that with the help of the Holy Spirit, we will be able to have a healthy home by way of good communication. I would want to pause here so that when the questions come, it will help us move on. So I'll pause here and then I'm calling for questions and then contributions if you have them.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for the wonderful message. Yes, Pastor has elaborated in great manner the way that we should know that communication is a continuous process, and also we should be creative in our interaction with our families, and above all, we should have a time blocked out that we would meet as family, if possible, daily, for us to bond more. So it's time for us all to also partake in the communication process, but also coming in with our questions either by raising your hands and then coming up with your question, or either typing it in the chat box, and I will be more than glad to read it. So there's time for us to also communicate. Any questions or contributions? The floor is still open.
Hello, Steve. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead and then.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor, for another insightful presentation tonight. My question and concern, however, though, is lately, like, even when you go anywhere, you see couples sitting down, everybody is glued to their phones, even at the restaurant, like, people are having a date, but they're still on their phones. In this era where, technology is, has really crept into our lives, and especially, with our younger kids coming up, what advice can you give? I know you talked a lot about it, like creating, that family quality time. But what advice can you give us? Because it looks like now technology, our phones, is taking like a huge, aspect when it comes to our communication. So what advice can you give us? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think that these days, because of technology, in fact, the way we communicate has been affected negatively. Because, like you said, people are, two people dating, they get to a restaurant, instead of talking, they are glued to their phones. That's why I said earlier that we need to find time, block time, that this time, between this time and this time, I am not going to touch my phone. Nobody in this house is going to touch his or her phone. Let us have family time together. Two people going out for a date and then you are glued to your phone. Before you go, you determine, you talk to yourself, look, when we get to a restaurant, nobody is touching his or her phone until we leave the place. If we are not able to do these things, it's going to be difficult for us to have a meaningful conversations. And so, yes, as parents and as people, I know it's not easy because we do basically everything with the phone. However, if we have the will, we can block times. For instance, if you have a 5-year-old son or 7 or 8-year-old son, you must be able to block times within the day where the child will not have access to his or her tablet. It is within you, the parent, you have to do that, because other than that, the child will be on the tablet 24/7. So you have to tell the child, look, between this time and this time, you can play with your tablet. Between this time and this time, there should be no play with the tablet. You take the tablet out of the child's hand, and you tell him or her that it is time for family togetherness. Even if there's nothing going on, let's sit down, just be by each other's side. If nothing is going on, just be by each other's side, not playing with our phones. And we need to be able to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us. Thank you.
Yeah, Pastor, I just want to add a little. Thank you so much for going at length to give us some of your best strategies for handling communication. I want to add that much as all the quality hours that you talked about, blocking them intentionally, specifying a time for family communication and all that. In between, there are moments that your wife, your kids, or somebody will come for conversation with you. And so, to add to what all the strategies Pastor has said, I just want us to know he has actually exposed us to the dangers these electronic gadgets can have on our life and on the quality of our family relationships. And so it calls for discipline. In fact, if your wife says, I want to talk to you, it's not only phones. If you're watching the TV, you got to turn it off. I mean, I'm not talking about only your wife. Any of the family members, it calls for discipline. Put them away. He wants or she wants to talk to you. So you got to spend quality and you have to make that a priority, to all the others. And I think that with that discipline and with that appreciation of the importance of family communication, our marriages and our families are going to grow better. So you cannot imagine what time your attention will be needed, but make it to your mind that your point that whenever you are needed, you got to put everything aside. Put newspapers, whatever you're reading, put it aside. If you're watching the TV, no TV. You have to spend time with somebody who is so important than whatever you are engaging. And I think with that discipline, we can go a long way.
Yeah, and adding a little to that, you see, one of the mistakes that as parents we do, especially when our kids want to talk to us and we are on phone. I mean, 1 hour, 2 hours, then you are still on the phone. The child comes in, you are on phone. He goes, come back, you are on phone. He goes, comes back, you're on phone. For about 1 hour, 2 hours, you are still on phone. He also needs to talk to you. So whatever you are talking or whatever discussions, just pause. You have to discipline yourself and pause. Tell the person, can you give me just 5 minutes? I'll call you back. And then you listen to your child. After that discussion, then you go back to talk to whoever you were talking with. It is very, very important because if you don't do that, it will get to a time your child will stop communicating. And it's going to be like, if I don't have a dad to talk to, even though you are at home, if I don't have a mom to talk to, my friends are there. And so I think we need to be very careful, but we need to be disciplined to give our kids the needed time and attention they want from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful responses that has been given. Any more questions or contributions are still welcome. It means that today's study has been really been easy to digest and understand because I don't see that many questions coming through. But I'm just gonna give a minute to see if there's any last minute question or contribution. You can either type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and talk. Okay.
This elder comments. I just want to make a little comment. Pastor Edward I kind of body language, guess the way we conduct ourselves. in our homes, are very, very important. Adia Nyamedia chain is so Ubufua, it shows the way you conduct yourself in the house. Untumi pretend. Only few people normal pretend to say Ubufua no osre. And that's a baby to say. And inti, yeah, as if here communication it's body language, and a bit mama nipa akaba. And body language is so Oma anaza ukunu anawire so ono so draw. Na situation bi e wo mu no communication se wo bi wa no aka se le pasa kan no ehia but me gidi se sa body language no ayade a ehia yie ko se bio onyame am yi nyina adwene se ya asori o se ya busua mu o se ya community mu o obi a hwe obi panyimfo se etire ohwe enye bofre ni apai mu nanso adeɛ nyame de akyerɛ sɛ adeɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ tiri mu no about 80% no it shows in your body language.
Thank you so much, the commenter. Yeah, I think there's a question in the chat. The question is, what if by virtue of your job, your schedule misaligned and can't have more quality time together? So how can we handle such a situation if our jobs are so busy that we can't have enough quality time? So, Pastor, that's a question.
Interesting. I don't think you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No matter how busy your work schedules are, you still have time. You close from work, you come home. So you have to create time. You have to create time. Even if it is 5 minutes, even if it is 10 minutes, create that time and spend with your family. If you spend all your time working, and like I said earlier, and you get all the monies in the world because you want to give them a good life, and because there is no, constant healthy communication between you and them, they will not even value it. Trust me. A lot of people have complained when I was growing up, my dad was not there, my mom was not there. Meanwhile, dad was working so busily trying to make ends meet, yet they grew up. And where were you when I was growing up? Forgetting that you were working. So I'm begging you, let's have time for our children. The more time we have for our children, they would also have time with us. Honestly, we have to create that enabling environment for our children to be able to get close to us. Other than that, they will not come to us. I will say, personally, when I'm angry, I don't know, I can't hide it. It shows me. And if you, sometimes I'm not even angry, but I'm sad. And then my son will come. Daddy, I didn't do a munasa. I said, no, Muna. Oh, what Muna? If you were in the one, I'm saying Muna, but my facial, even though I'm saying I'm not angry, but my facial expression is also showing something else, And so what I want us to do is that I'm begging you, let's try our best. Let's try our best. There's an alarm. Alarm now has still not called, so that's why I'm coming up. Let's try our best and then make sure that we create that enabling environment for everybody to be happy. Now, if your wife offends you, have a better way to communicate with her so that you don't spill it or you don't vent on your kids. Now, And I think that the children should also understand that as parents, we are also human beings. Sometimes we have our good times and our bad times. And so when we are in bad times, they should also understand and find ways to communicate with us. And I think say Nyame Adom Echina will narrow down on marital communication between the couples. Now, the go on my son picking up.
Thank you. Okay.
Is there time for me to add something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm looking at the situation that most people are in this environment. You know, some people work is so the work schedule is so tight that they scarcely they rarely have time for communication with their family members. So I think we have to take advantage of technology. Technology can help, but it can also kill. So you can use your phone to do a lot of things. You know, imagine testing your wife. I mean, it won't take too long. Oh, honey, how are you doing? I'm so busy, but I just want to check on you. Testing your child. You know, most of the kids have they have cell phones. Just send them a message. Even if they don't read, they are in class and they can't, they will read it afterwards. So it's not only testing, you can go to Facebook, you have Instagram, you have all that. And so let's use to our advantage. Okay? Instead of allowing those things to creep into our marriage and destroy our communications, let's use them for our benefit by communicating through these technological avenues. And I think that, like Pastor said, if you are poised to use whatever time that's available to you, you will really find some time to communicate with your family members because they are more important even than your job. If you agree with me.
And I think that as children, we must also understand that our parents are our best friends. Our parents should be our best friends. And so let's also find ways to communicate with our parents. Sometimes the work schedule and bills and all those things are so much weighing down on them to the fact that they have little time for you. Find time to also communicate with them. Don't sit down and say, my dad is angry, he looks angry, therefore I'll not approach him or her. No. Approach them, find ways to approach your parents. It's very important. Don't sit back and always wait for them to approach you. If you have any issue, go to mood. They are your best cheerleaders. And so I also treat or encourage the children to also approach our parents in every way that we can so that we can have meaningful communication at home. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful response. Any last minute questions or contributions? Before our secretary brings our announcements, I want us to take notice of things that will be happening. So for tomorrow, our program, the Mode family, Abigail and Paul, they'll be doing the coordination for us. And the Antoban family will do a song ministration for us. So we should take notice of that. And then also, as we all know, we have so many activities planned on Sabbath. Sure, we invite our friends to tomorrow's session. Just like today, we all showed up. Our number will continually increase because you might never know the message that God has for your friends. So also invite them to our evening family session meeting. So I will humbly ask that if the secretary team can hear me, they can give us the announcement. And after the announcement, I would ask that Mrs. Amponse Jan, Dr. Mian, What Mayen will pray for us to end everything after the announcements. Thank you.
We thank all of you for the time we have